Hey, Congressman.
Rocky D.
Tell me about TARP.
It's more money, babe.
More money. Free money. Free money. It's money from the magic Obama money tree.
I just left the floor of the House with Democrat help. The South Carolina, the United States House just passed an additional $350 billion, and it was the wrong move, my friend.
Well, of course, because there's no such thing as free money. Somebody's paying for it.
Absolutely. You know, it's this second 350. I went to the floor. I actually offered a motion to recommit yesterday, which would have stopped the 350. The Senate's already passed it, so the House was the last impediment. And you know, all I said was let's just stop. Let's just catch our breath, guys. I think we have at least brought some stability to the market. Let's make sure. Let's figure out what happened to this first 350. Let's make sure it's working. It's where it went, who spent it, where it is right now, before we all of a sudden launch into something that is expanded, is larger, and is literally going to bail out businesses.
You know, this reminds me of the whole New Deal thing. What you're looking at here is the federalizing of all of the banks. The government will own the banks. And then look what's going to happen here. What you're going to have is the entire system is going to be owned to the bank, and then the banks will say that only preferred stock owners, okay, will be able to get dividends, right? And who will be the preferred stock owner? The government.
I don't know if you've been following what's happening in the UK, but they're in deep kimchi over there, and I tell you, you know, somebody's got to pay these bills. This money's coming from somewhere. We just got kind of the heads up, Rocky D, on this the stimulus package that President Obama is pushing. $825 billion. Let me give you just a couple of statistics. Only about 65 to 70 billion is actually stimulus, actually job creation for roads and bridges and water and sewer. The rest of it, I mean, let me give you some figures. There's 50 million for endowment of the arts. There's monies going to the Smithsonian. There's monies going to the mall to plant grass. Yeah, to plant grass.
What?
I mean, there's $600 million. Get this one now. There's $600 million for us to get ready for nationalized health care. Hello, I don't think we've had that debate yet.
No, and they don't. What he's talking about, what Congressman Gresham Barrett is talking about, is the Troubled Asset Relief Program. It's an absolute scam, is it not?
Well, this second 350. I'm telling you, it's unfortunately we came up on the short end of the stick, and there's more monies that will be going out as we speak, my friend.
When the government owns the majority of the stock in the banks, only the government will get preferred stock dividends mailed out to them, sent to them, and the people who have the money in the bank, they own you. They own your bank account now. Gresham, where are we going here? Are we baby stepping towards socialism? Or are we taking huge trampoline leaps?
Well, unfortunately, Rocky D, I think this is a huge leap. I mean, I think it's a huge step. You know, we've got to slow down and take some measured approaches. You know, if we want to see the economy boom, and that's what the TARP's supposed to do, that's what the stimulus is supposed to do. If we want to see things really pick up, let's talk about what can really stimulate this economy. Let's talk about a tax code where we've got two individual rates, a 28 and a 15, where we cut the capital gains rate to zero or close to zero, where we cut the corporate tax rate, where we make the Bush tax cuts permanent and allow people to keep more of their hard-earned money so they can invest, not the federal government.
Well, it seems to me the mood of this administration, and I don't think Obama's in on this. I don't think he does finance. I think this is all about Harry Reid and Pelosi pulling his strings. That's what I see right now. You know, the liberals in Congress. It's all about the government controlling everything and turning us into a one-world government. And I say that without, I say that knowing that the tinfoil hat wearers are going, yeah, jumping around. But I'm talking about reality here. We're talking about no borders. We're talking about the government being able to regulate every dollar you spend. We're talking about no failure.
Well, it is scary, some of the directions we're going in, and somebody. It's not going to be me and you, Rock. Somebody's got to pay these bills, and it's going to be our children and our children's children, and unfortunately, our children's children's children.
You know, it's getting to the point where I'm beginning to think this is being done on purpose so that they can devalue the dollar, so that the Federal Reserve Bank and the World Bank, however you want to call it, can devalue the dollar until it's worthless and therefore take over economically, if that hasn't been done already.
Well, I've said this my entire career in Congress. My biggest fear, and you just hit on it, my biggest fear is that we wake up one day and we have such an imbalance sheet, not a balance sheet, but an imbalance sheet. We wake up one day and the world says, you know what? The dollar is not the world standard anymore. We're going to make it the won or the yen or the euro or whatever. Then who's going to buy our debt? Then what do? You can't print enough money because your money's no good.
What we do is what the liberals want. We overturn our sovereignty to the world governing order. And that's the scary stuff, Gresh. I mean, you're right in the middle of it. Do I have to run for office?
It's interesting times. It's scary times, and I just hope that we can continue to beat the drum and let people know what's going on, and maybe we can turn this ship around a little bit.
Let me ask you here in our closing 30 seconds, where can people contact you or anybody else to get involved and tell the government to stop doing this? What can we do? What can I do? Is it just a guy here?
Call your congressman. Call Nancy Pelosi. Call the House of Representatives and let them know. If your congressman believes like you do, guess what? There's 435 other members, and they need to hear from people, small business people, folks that are struggling to put kids in college and make a house payment and a car payment. They need to understand that there are people hurting out there, and the policies that the federal government is doing right now is not helping them.
Well, I called Barney Frank, but all he did was ask me to meet him at the Pantheon for a drink.
No comment.
They're wrecking the country, Gresham. I'm counting on you. We'll be talking to Jim DeMint in 20 minutes.
Good deal. He's one of the fighters over in the Senate, my friend.
God. You know what the depressing thing is, Gresham? There's very few of us left. Nobody wants to stand in the smoke and fight.
You're right. And the only thing we've got right now is guys like you and communications to let them know what our plan is and what's really going to turn this government around. It's not making the government larger and spending more money.
Got you back, man.
All right, buddy.
I'm knee deep in the smoke. I got my torch lit. Head me to the sound of the guns, bub.
See you later, Rocky.